Hey, welcome back. This is the Luminaries podcast, episode 3. I screwed up last time and called it episode 2, so I'm going to fix that in the labels later. But anyway, this is episode 3, the Luminaries podcast, where we check in on... Ooh, I put portal up there. Let me fix that real quick. Where we check in on eclipse energies and new moon and full moon energies. Lunar eclipses, solar eclipses, and as I was just talking to Jamie, I got dyslexic and was mixing up moons and eclipses. They have a similar energy in the sense that they're restarts. Full moon is an emotional release, clearing all that, and a new moon is a mental release and a starting point, where after that new moon the emo feelings start building up for the next 2 weeks for the next full moon cycle. Real quick, I'm going to edit these words I put in here, but yeah, I'm going to play the music in the background real quick. These are the guys I've mentioned before. Check them out on Deep Sleep California Bandcamp. Right there in the back. But we'll have them in the background, and here is our chart that we're looking at. Full moon in Gemini. Get rid of that portal talk. No more twin flame portal or whatever the heck. Dream spell portal. Everybody keeps talking about calling everything a portal. Sorry. Portal. There we go. We're ready. Oh, I left the and. Get rid of the and. So here we go. Yes, we are live. It's even delayed again. So yeah, this is the full moon in Gemini. That last one I thought was the last new moon in Scorpio. See, what I find is really ironic about these two is that it's a full moon, that's an emotional energy, but it's in Gemini, a mental energy. And the last one was a emotional Scorpio energy, but it was in a new moon. It was in a new moon energy. So the yeah. So this is So kind of like on that theme that we were talking about on how hard everything and crazy it feels right now. And I sort of said I think the cardinal signs and just the suppressed energies in this age in general. Yeah, like I'd say everybody that's been below the horizon their whole life, they're feeling this really heavily, but they're like about to be above the horizon and get their reward for like a lifetime of being below the horizon. But I really feel like it affects the cardinal energies a lot, as far as reward. But yeah, this last theme shifted me intensely with the new moon being scorpionic. It like gave me closure on being stuck forever on emotional thing, where when you're fixed in a Scorpio mode but you're emotionally stupid, like, or your emotions are not logically attaching to something that is emotionally like correct. So basically I felt like a lifetime shift of emotional beliefs that I had and conclusions. I basically shifted a whole world of like what seemed to be failures into wins on the last new moon. I feel like this is sort of not repeating the same pattern, but like kind of a mental, a very similar in the sense that it's a mental energy in an emotional world now. But yeah, me and
we had to overcome these internal
what card is that? Is there any way you can...
This is Judgment. In this deck it's Karma.
Okay, gotcha. So do you want to start with the cards, or do you want me to, like, kind of...
Oh, no, I'm just trying to throw
Yeah. Okay. Well, I'll start with where we were just talking. Well, we kind of started, but yeah, I'll keep finishing. But yeah, Jamie... Yeah, Jamie and I were talking about if we wanted to do this today because we were just, like, not feeling up for it. And then I was kind of like, I think that's the point. But yeah, I think, like we said, a lot of the occulted or below the horizon, that's anything below the AC and the DC there. The camera's hiding the AC line there, but everything in the bottom hemisphere in astrology in general are sort of subconscious energies in the 3D, in the sense that anything above the horizon is very, like, solar and very obvious and can be seen by everyone. What's the phrase? Don't sleep on someone. Okay, so that, like, sort of young kid phrase these days. So basically everyone below the horizon, everybody would say they sleep on them, as in they don't give them any credit for anything. They don't understand them. They're not like in the collective conscious, they're not really understood and appreciated. So yeah, it seems like I feel like it has to do with the age shift, and you know, this shit is very repressive. So energies that were repressive in the past and had a lot of short-term thinking, as far as, like, I'm the king of the mountain, repress everybody. I feel like that age is shifting, and people that never thought like that, I feel, are going to be the all-stars sort of coming into the horizon. We're just basically saying, like, how crappy we feel right now, being, like, very cardinal signs, and I just kind of broke down that it's probably still all these retrogrades in Neptune. Saturn is not retrograde, but it still is stationary and is feeling like it's going nowhere. So, like, your dreams and your power, integrity, and
having to deal with the things that we've been avoiding.
Yeah, so all the poopy pants, like, because, like, it's supposed to, like, basically me and Jamie's chart with cardinal stuff is supposed to be, like, moving forward, especially all the Capricorn and Pluto stuff and Saturn, all the Saturn related and Capricorn related stuff is moving forward, but it's at these, Leo King coins it from somebody else, they calls them the crusty degrees. Like, the last master degree is 27 through 29, especially this 28 one, just feels like you're in the mud and you're stuck. But I mean, it's Pluto transforming your entire career in the best degree, the winning degree, at the end of Capricorn right there. So if you did the work and you have integrity, you're working with all these cardinal energies, and like that Saturn, but also Neptune is retrograde, all the outer planets too, and Uranus is in Taurus, so it's more earthy, muddy feeling. These things are transforming, but they're retrograde, so you're not really seeing the big picture of the transformation yet. It's happening right now. You're actually doing the work to transform it, but it doesn't feel like doesn't feel like the reward yet. But like just kind of felt like the theme was like the momentum is actually in like the like inner planet, like the personal signs and the social signs, like Libra. So like Libra is one of the best things in the chart right now, but we're not going to be feeling the momentum, according to Molly McCord and Sky, the other guys I am always referring to. We're not going to feel the momentum of this Libra, Venus and Libra energy. We're not going to really feel the reward of that until it's sort of exiting Libra, because Sag season has just there's just a big stellium built up in Sag season right now. So everything feels like it's oriented around, well, where this full moon will be in. It'll be communication where the sun is, in Sagittarius in higher learning and adventure, and mostly higher learning. Just this is kind of more like getting yourself a certificate for stuff and moving into the higher levels of your own degrees. Like, I wouldn't necessarily think of the higher learning aspect as like going to school, but opposite of that, the moon is in Gemini in the 8th house, where we're going to feel this next cycle, and why we're having this whole podcast is it's in Gemini in the 8th house. So your communication in an emotional way, your emotional communication is going to be transforming from like here forward, at least for the next 2 weeks, but it's going to momentum into, for the rest of the year. It's just kind of, we're focusing on our, I'd say, saving money, buying, you have to spend to earn, but like doing the very pragmatic, practical, buy the best thing that you can afford, but it's like the foundation of like the rest of your career shift into the future. You really can't be like going out to dinner and just like, this whole transit seems to be about removing all the things in your life that are not part of your life purpose, and like, yeah, doing it as efficiently as possible too. So that's like the first part of the astro. Yeah. So right there, I don't know if you want to focus on what I was just saying. I can keep going on to the inconjuncts and the squares and stuff.
I'm just seeing where you're talking is related to the cards.
Okay. So I can keep doing.
We've got the two of pentacles that came up, and they also came out for, I believe, for the eclipse. And then when you were talking about this momentum building up, I've got the Five of Wands in this deck, and if you look behind her, it's literally a volcano. Like, you can see the stream of like lava underneath her.
Yeah, there's the, not to real quickly, volcanoes all over the place. Iceland's exploding, and it has to do with like the energy in Virgo and Saturn and Pisces. But yeah, it normally when they talk about volcanoes, they talk about Virgo, but it's Saturn and Pisces, and all the stuff in Saturn. It's like end of the world, old tectonic plates, big Saturn, crusty Earth movements right now. And well, yeah, it is Sagittarius season, so just to kind of summarize the Sagittarius season, Mercury's in detriment in Sagittarius, and it's going to go retrograde very much towards until the end of the month. Yeah, so Sky's channel, he was talking about how this Mercury in Sagittarius that is soon to go retrograde for like from the 13th to the 31st, that's going to kind of steal all the wind out of the sails of the Venus direct until that passes. And it's just like, if you're confused right now, and that's a lot of the anxiety there too, because our brain is thinking of all the possibilities, but it's not focused. So we're thinking about all the life possibilities, but it's like we're kind of dumb about it. Like, we don't have an ability to hone it. So for me, that is a part of the anxiety energy that's going on too, the kind of axis between Gemini in the emotional feelings all screwed up, and Sagittarius in the trying to be focused, and Sagittarius is never focused. But also the stellium there, it's not real stellium, but bunched up other stuff in the train there, like Antares and the Sun and Mars and Ceres. Mars is basically probably at the strongest, and it's basically, I'd say, the rear wheel engine, like at the back of this, pushing the whole train in the Sagittarius section. So yeah, just values are on your beliefs are big and shifting right now, and that's gonna at the end of that, there's a Ceres is right behind Mars, and that is connected to a big sextile that is connected to Pluto. So your values are getting support from Pluto at 28. So your communication will be supported in thinking about all these things. And in the Pluto department, it'll be direct. And in the Saturn department, it's coming online direct. Saturn's not in the sextile though, but that sextile jumps over to Neptune. So your dreams also, and Neptune and Sagittarius, they work well together, and they can. So you're going to be getting support with your dreams. You're just not going to see it directly. That's where you're going to feel insecure about it. But just go for it. Stop being a wuss. And and then you're also going to get support from Uranus in Neptune's in the 5th house. Sorry, I'm just going to put that in there. It's in the 5th house. So your dreams and your family and your art and your love are all going to be supported in this. And then it's sextiling up to Neptune again, and that is up to Uranus in Taurus again. So the 7th house value shift, it will have unexpected, unpredictable value shifts in the 7th house of friends, frenemies, justice. So yeah, like alliances, there's still this theme of alliances shifting. Yeah, I've kept making the themes of battle, like in the big picture, it's battle lines. Finding out who the spies are, finding out who the frenemies are.
You're just recognizing and seeing everyone for who the hell they are.
Yeah, and the whole time, but like I said, with just that past Scorpio shift of seeing your whole life differently, it's kind of like all the people that judge you your whole life, that you saw them as right, like that they kind of like called you out. It's kind of figuring out that your worldview shifts to the point that you find out, like, actually no, my haters were just haters, and I was right. or it could be the other way around. It could be you could be on that other side, but that's the theme here, is finding out cosmic like shifts towards your whole life, and having the support of that behind us now we're mentally doing the same thing with the Gemini stuff. Or emotionally, yeah, we're having emotional understanding of how we communicate, transform. But yeah, that's all the supporting stuff with the Sagittarius and the moon. The moon is going to have a semi-trine over to Pluto too. So that career should be feeling better. Like, you should be feeling better about your communication and your career. And Pluto's in the 3rd too. So that's some nice energy there. It looks like there's another partial trine from Venus over to Saturn. So Venus and Saturn are starting to work behind the scenes together.
It's trading Gemini energy with their power.
Yeah. And looks like there's I get these mixed up. I'm an energy reader, guys, but looks like Pluto could be squaring. Pluto is being squared by the moon. So, like, although Pluto's giving the moon good energy, the moon is giving Pluto a little bit of square energy between that and Ceres. So I'm not going to focus. I'm not going to focus on that because I don't think that's super relevant. But yeah, I got like one or two more things to say, but those are the things that were like jumping out at me first. But yeah, it's just big. It's just big stuff. It's big energies, and it's almost like the big energies are the distraction, and the small local communication and work-oriented things are like very subtly giving a small amount of support in the 3D, but it's like right now that's where you need to be hyper-focusing on, is just reducing. It's like you're reconnecting all the wires of like a computer, or like you have a tree that you trim all the dead leaves off the top, and you even maybe cut out some of the dead roots that are around it, and you hyper efficiently with earth energy are basically creating the least resistance from the roots to the branches that are still living and the trees that are still living. Like if you ever grew marijuana, you're just de-leafing. You're just taking all the leaves off that are dead, that are not going to the buds, basically. But yeah, that's it, except there's Uranus in Taurus has an inconjunct in, so like I just said that thing about the 7th house with frenemies and justice. So there's got to be like a G check in some sort of way from Spica, the Empress star, over to Uranus. So some sort of feminine energy is going to head back with that Uranian energy and sort of G check Uranus to see if he's like I guess I'd kind of say in value and integrity, I guess. And Ceres, the mother of Persephone, that recently has been playing out stuff between the Pluto energy and the Venusian energy and Virgo and energy. Ceres, the harvest god mother who created winter, she is having some sort of dramatic G-check with the last lunar Taurus eclipse. So that the cycle from that last lunar Taurus eclipse at 5 degrees is making some sort of, you know, if you were having drama with a soulmate like 2 weeks ago or so, 3 weeks ago, that's gonna come up tomorrow probably. So yeah, I think that's it. I went a little deeper there than a little rambling. That was a hard one to decipher.
Yeah. Well, a lot is definitely boiling to the surface within ourselves and within the collective, for sure. We can see that in all of our lives and in the chaos that's going on in the world. And I feel like it's just a matter of are you choosing from a space of the hardcore intelligence, or are you choosing from an ego-based materialistic shadow aspect of self?
Yeah.
And it's kind of like we've been fluxing back and forth, kind of like the nibbling back and forth of the Two of Pentacles, just kind of testing out the waters and everything to see what everything feels like in order to make a final choice, to choose a path, to feel what does feel like it's the least resistance that you're feeling. Because when you're feeling balance. It's an energetic, like a bringing together of the physical and the spiritual aspects. Because we kind of have to sink into this space that feels like a void, and this comes upon us through our own avoidance of the resistance that we are creating for ourselves because we're afraid of the things that we're in avoidance of, which creates the void.
Well, could you tell me what order that's in, and can you re-say what the cards were again?
Okay, so first I pulled the High Priestess, and then I pulled the Five of Wands.
That's the blue. Is that the blue one down there?
High Priestess
Okay.
upright, Five of Wands upright.
Okay.
And then I pulled with my other deck, Judgment reversed and Two of Pentacles. So the Judgment reversed. This is, you know, how we've had this discussion of not making a choice is still making a choice, right? We've had
Yeah.
this discussion, right?
Yeah. Well, yeah, and
You know, if you are still continuing to avoid these things, you're going to be sucked into your own abyss. I mean, we created it.
see that concept my whole life really bugged me. That phrase, not making choice is still a choice, and I didn't agree with that until later in my life, because I got in one version of my
What has accumulated by not making these choices?
yeah, I had to deal with that theme from other people, and I realized I'm also dealing it within myself, and because I didn't.
Pay attention to it.
Well, I didn't really believe in it because I have a Libra stellium, and like one version of my chart could be potentially like a Pisces rising. So like I really identify with the Pisces energy or signature. I'm on a C-section basically. So it just, anyway, long story short, I can interpret different versions of my chart if I want to through intuitives. And I've always identified when I was younger, like with the Pisces energy of believing, mostly the theme of believing. But basically, the Pisces and Libra are super fucking indecisive, and Libra really just does it with the mental energy for the most part and uses the scales. But yeah, my Pisces and Libra was fighting my whole life that theme of, you know, if you don't make a choice, that is a choice. But I didn't really get it until other people did that to me, like where they didn't make a choice with me, and then eventually I was like, So I've come to some like big conclusion long term with that whole concept of there's a time to act, like there's a time to you can't. Yeah, being able to make a choice immediately on instinct. That's a very fire-oriented thing. So it's sort of a balance between the Libra, like, can be indecisive and taking too long, and you know we're at North Node Chiron right now in Aries.
Not anyone has to make a choice right away, but you can't just ignore it. You know, we can't numb ourselves.
Yeah, this is it.
We have to face that.
This is the thing. This is one of the reasons why I wanted to do cards with you, because you pull fast, because you're fire rising, and that decisiveness is like, wow, I love it. And that's what I love about your reads. That's why I wanted to pull with you, because I have a Libra delay and a Cancer delay. So basically, we have like an opposite spectrum of how we like read and how we see things. But yeah, it is this sort of Piscean, Libran, Aries concept, I feel like, of which one is right is like leading with the heart, the Aries spark. I feel like you kind of only do that if you're an Aries, or if you have like Aries signature, or vice versa with the Libra, is that, you know, thinking of everything and buying as much time as possible, and then
Leo is very heart-based.
yeah, well, all the fire signs don't really have this problem. I mean, Sag is like a forest fire ember. So, like, yeah, Sag is kind of like make a good business plan in the beginning, and then at the end do some sort of really unpredictable, super king procrastinator, basically. But they somehow thrive in procrastination because they kind of amazed everybody how they come through in the clutch at the end. But you know, Aries and Leo are very balanced. Like, Leo for me is the most balanced because it's similar to my Cancer in that they know when enough is enough, for sure. Like, yeah, like Leo knows when to start and stop things, for sure. Aries is really good about starting everything before everybody. Just like the theme of deciding first is more important than it just being first gives such a statistical advantage if you just are offensive and you go 100% into just making a choice. So that's, yeah, it's just so interesting about how we can think about this concept of how everybody gets tripped up in some way, no matter what they are, on when and how to act. Yeah. Yeah. But, so you said that was Judgment and Two of Cups? Two of Pentacles. So yeah, like business partnerships. Like two. So yeah. So I just I have a Runes Oracle card I'm not as familiar with, so I'm thinking I'll pull one of those in. But I just got the Five of Cups. Yeah. So yeah, change for sure.
Five is also connected to the earth.
I flipped it over again. I was spinning it in my hand, but it came out upright. We got Three of Wands. Decision time. Ships coming in, right? Isn't that associated, or is that a different one? Three of Wands to me is like making a decision, like what we were just talking about, like kind of like what we were just talking about with fire and.
It's like waiting for that like moment to come when you have to make it.
Yeah. Like for me, the first thing I'm thinking about, because I was just talking about business and there's so much Saturn in all this, is Two of Wands, partnerships, and for me in the past, Three of Wands is just making the decision on that shit. like starting to commit to it. It's commitment to me. But
it's the whole contemplation of it. Right?
Yeah. So I'm a Sun Cancer, but I just pulled Knight of Cups. So that Knights, I've heard, are mutable. So yeah, mutable water would be like kind of Pisces energy. But I also view it as cardinal. So maybe I'm mixing those up actually. But yeah, I'm getting.
Cups to me is more open and accepting.
Well, I'm kind of getting all the same three cards of commitment. Like, it's also like cardinal water because it's a knight. Like, I think I might be mixing up. I've heard, different theories on those, but I know, like, the magician, I'm always told this mutable energy. And now we got Knight of Wands. So, man, I don't normally get knights, and I don't normally get much fire energy. I got 2 fires, 2 cups, and yeah. So yeah, those 4 to me are just saying, like, starter pistol. So, sort of, right? Like, on something like business related, or love related, or commitment, or career related. And then I just pulled the moon. And yeah, I'm a Cancer sign, and we weren't going to do this one tonight, but I was feeling extra Cancer. And like, you know, let's do it. So yeah, if you're Cancer, it's I'd say it's water time, it's cardinal time, and you know, everything we've been talking about tonight has been mostly Jamie's been kind of covering the earth stuff. I have a little too, but I think I think Jamie was feeling this transit really hard is because it's so much earth, and basically there's also been so much anxiety last week because everything else. She has a grand earth trine, I have a grand air trine, so the anxiety and confusion I've been kind of like starting to slowly unravel. like what's causing the confusion? It's not the earth. Yeah, the earth is feeling sad because the air is like confused as hell. It's sort of sorting stuff out. But yeah, so the moon. But I don't know. I think I can stop with those 3. What's we got?
I just pulled the Ace of Money and the Nine of Cups, and also at the bottom of the deck for both of these, I got the Star Mark. So what I'm getting from this is through these transformations and you know, ignitions of the soul through the heart. You know, you're passing through the first gate of these initiations along your journey in the path, and moving into the second gate, which is the gate of the High Priestess in the tarot. And the star correlates to the age of Aquarius, and this is the age that we are meant to evolve. We are meant to live. We are meant to live the dream that we dream, and allow the sunshine to come in at the dawn of our time. Like, we are meant to shine now. We're not meant to shine later. We're meant to shine now. So why wait? Start now. Live it every day.
So I just realized pulled the moon on the full moon thing. Just like, oh yeah. So yeah, with that moon card, when it just said, it's just kind of hyper.
The full moon's on this High Priestess.
Yeah.
It's a beautiful.
Did you pull? Oh my God, you bookend with 2 High Priestesses. That's amazing. So yeah, triple moon, triple moon cards, but it's also, you know, representing the 3 is Gemini. So yeah, just keep in mind about what we just said about the last new moon was in Scorpio. All right, and it had a mental. It was in the, I think it was in the 3rd house, and this one is in the home of Scorpio house 8, in the 8th house. So it's like almost like our entire left and right brain hemisphere are both getting like flipped upside down between these like last 2 moons and now, and we're just entirely viewing everything differently from here on out, basically. But yeah, 8th house, moon, Gemini, communication.
We're having to really deal with the dualities of both hemispheres for sure. We're having to kind of learn to merge the two.
But we were talking before this about Gemini, and I'm trying to learn runes. This is a deck I got from a guy named YouTuber wrestlingaround.com. He's got a deck, and this is a rune deck. So it's like an oracle rune deck, but it's also musical, and it has a sister deck that's coming soon. But either way, we were talking about Gemini, and like we were trying to come up with who is Gemini, basically, and we're just saying that I think of the signs as like gods, and Loki is basically, to me, really representative of Gemini, and Odin is kind of representative of Virgo to me, mostly in the mercurial sense in those stories. But yeah, Loki is just really misunderstood. So, and it has to do with actually the opposition to like Virgo and the concept of the twins. Like Gemini is the fun, neutral half of Mercury and the communication-oriented one. So like, it's not. I don't think it's a coincidence that like Disney Channel, like everybody wanted Loki from the Avengers because he's just a mischief god. So, you know, the neutral planets are just, they do what they want, and some people hate them for that. But really, I think the theme with that is fun, and like I think of house cats when I think of like Gemini energy too. They're just very curious, and it's not emotional, and I think it's a very good reason why in alchemy Mercury is the most important zodiac in alchemy, and it's because it has to do with thinking in a more fluid and curious way than an emotional way. So I think all of the troubles that are going on right now, I think they need to be looked at in a fun and curious way, and that's like in a creative way, and I think that's what is key to this moon right now. So I pulled the first rune card, since I was talking about the runes and Loki. It's called Hailed. So I don't know how to pronounce these like he does, but I'll read it, if that's cool. So, Idun's apples of youth keep Odin's kin vital. The cunning truth of the cunning truth of longevity is accepting we are more than just mind, body, and soul. Biome is crucial. We all are human holopoints. Bacteria live symbiotically within us and all over us. Like us, all points thrive on diversity. The narrower the diet of not just food, but thoughts and feelings too, the faster we hurry to our graves. Be more cunning, consume diversity. So, like I just said before that, curiosity. Do not become too rigid. So yeah, I'm going to pull one more because it's kind of long and poetic and abstract. Wheel. So sorry. Biggest part about these is that they look amazing. So yeah, this one more time. They're nuts. Sorry. I gotta figure out this lamp. There we go. Yeah. So this is just another spectrum of the purpose of the deck. This is just beautiful. So yes, and well, we are all born to lock horns with life, to bring trouble and tussle to those fool enough to try ruling us. The grip of youth fights for its truth. Strike the death knell history bell and blast out the past. Punctuate, perforate, mark, scent your distinct new hood from your good to be stamped, revamped and retuned. Willful resistance. So I like that one.
I was talking about resistance.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
I didn't realize how long we've been on.
Yeah.
I'm gonna have to get up.
Yeah, I was going to say. Probably went a little long with the Oracle cards, but all right. Yeah, for sure. But yeah, thank you for joining us. That was the Full Moon Gemini podcast for Luminaries, episode 3. Yeah, have a good night, and we hope you enjoy tomorrow. Hope you make it through the moon. All right.